I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support.
Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Literary Apothecary, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another Books My Boyfriend Gave Me episode, and this is the last one for now in the video game series. So today we're going to be talking about both Ephyra Rising, the last game in the Gears of War series, and then the series as a whole for a little bit. This will probably be a short video because I don't have a lot more to say about it, but I wanted to give it its due respect to talk about book 8 on its own and then the series wrap up. So Ephyra Rising, like I said, is book 8, the last book in the Gears of War series. This is written by Michael Stackpole, which is yet a third author in this series. Spoiler-free summary of what this book is about. This book takes place after the first 5 books, before book 6 and 7. So it's weird placement, but I'll talk about that in just a minute. Basically, they are rebuilding society on Sarah after the Locust Wars. Anya has been selected for the ministry, essentially their governing body. Meanwhile, Marcus is dealing with PTSD and trying to deal with adjusting to civilian life again after so many years as a soldier and in war. And basically we just follow our two main characters through their life and trying to adjust to everything that's going on now. Marcus goes off on a mission with another guy that he met in town, Brandon, and they're going to hunt down locusts that may be remaining, find other settlements, and that kind of stuff. Anya is trying to work with the other ministry members, including Damon Baird, who's built like this water treatment plant all on his own, and trying to figure out how they're going to actually rebuild this society after everything that's happened. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I thought the writing was well done. I actually enjoyed reading about the rebuilding of society. I think a lot of times in post-apocalyptic books or movies, just that genre in itself, we get kind of the immediate post-apocalyptic aftermath, but we don't get to see the rebuild after that. It's just the end of the world and that's it. I always want to see more. I want to see after that happens, after the big war, like in Harry Potter, we got that weird like last chapter epilogue in the last book, but it takes place 19 years later. I wanted to know exactly what happened after the Battle of Hogwarts, how they rebuilt Hogwarts and all that. This book gives me that kind of rebuilding. This one also stylistically, prose-wise, felt like more like the first 5 books, where at the start of each chapter we get a time of when this is taking place, and not only a time, but in relation to Emergence Day, which was like their Ground Zero Day, and also where it's taking place. So it kind of grounds you in that moment and helps kind of reorient you to where you are and when you are. I mentioned the timing earlier, the kind of placement of this book in the series, and that was kind of my only gripe with this book, is that this, timeline-wise, takes place in the middle of the series, but it's the last book in the series. So that was weird. But once I got past that moment, I actually really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed it a lot more than some of the other books. So now let's talk about the series, the Gears of War series as a whole, because I've got things to say about this series. While I thought overall the writing and the prose was decent, fairly well done, I thought their organization of these books was absolutely horrendous. They advertised this as an 8-book series, but it felt more like books 1 through 5 were their own series. Books 6 and 7 were a separate series, and then book 8 should have come after book 5. Well, I mean, okay, so then we say Book 5 took place actually before books 1 through 4. So, realistically, chronologically, you would say book 5 should be book 1, and then we have book 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you put book 8 in the middle, and then make books 6 and 7 their own series, like some people in the reviews had been talking about. While I was preparing for this video, I was kind of glancing through some of the reviews on Goodreads for these books, and it's really funny because the books that I enjoyed the most, people that are well versed in this game series, this universe, liked the least, because it dealt the least with the actual games. But I thought plot-wise and character-wise and just like actual novel writing-wise, they were the best ones. So let's talk about them. As a whole, I think I fall at about a 3.5 rating for this series. Let me go through the books and I'll kind of rate them in order of which ones I enjoyed most to the least. So the one that I enjoyed the most was Coalition's End, which was book 4. I gave that one 4.5 out of 5 stars, and that one is one of the ones that had a cliffhanger at the end. I was dying to find out what happened, and then we went to book 5, which takes us to before all of the books started. So that was a big letdown in book 5 for me. But I'll get to book 5 in just a minute. After that, I had Anvil Gate, which is book 3, and I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. And then we go to Ephyra Rising, book 6, which was also 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next up is Jacinto's Remnant, which is book 2. That one I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then we'll jump to Ascendance, which is book 7, which is also 3.5 stars. Astrofield, it was the book that I liked in 6th place. I gave that 3 out of 5 stars. That was the first book, so that took a little bit of adjusting for me. I'm sure after I've played the video games, which we kind of started a little bit, and now that I've reread this series and know what it's all about, that rating might bump up a little. And then the 2 books that I liked least were The Slab, book 5, mostly because there wasn't a lot that actually happened in that book, and it felt like it should have come first before all the other books, since that's when it chronologically takes place. And then the book that I liked least was Bloodlines, which was book 7. This mostly because it did not feel needed. This was just kind of a marketing push by the game developers and the gaming company because they had a new game series coming out that starred one of our main characters in Bloodlines. So that's kind of my series ranking, my series review, my review for book 8. If you've read this series before, let me know in the comments below. What was your favorite book in this series? If you've played the video games before, let me know which game is your favorite video game in the Gears of War series. As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. Keep reading, and I love y'all to the moon and back. Bye.